Nick Wilson is the Senior Director for Gun Violence Prevention at the Center for American Progress and joins me now live. Nick, thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me on this exciting Wear Orange Day.
I wanted to ask you specifically about Gun Violence Awareness Day. I know that you're wearing orange for it. And also just the broader awareness month. Does this actually help reduce shootings? Because I feel like as a journalist, this is a story that we cover day in and day out, and it feels as though we're seeing mass shootings across the country, if not weekly, somewhat daily in some instances.
That's a great question. What we're trying to do on this day, which started in 2015, this is the 9th year, where we're trying to honor survivors of gun violence and victims of gun violence in honor of Hadiya Pendleton, who was killed in 2013, a week after performing at President Obama's inauguration. And so today's a day to really honor the victims, but also to try to remind people that gun violence really impacts every community, whether it's urban, rural, or suburban, and that we need to join together in solidarity for the victims of gun violence and advocate for stronger gun laws. Just wearing a pin or wearing a shirt or changing your avatar might not make a difference, but if we all collect together and show our voice and pass stronger gun laws, we know that those gun deaths will continue to decline.
We're always left asking the same question after every horrible gun story. We were just talking about, children who are killed by gun violence. We're always asking, how can we stop this? How do we stop the shootings? I want to play you something that Chris Brown said when asked the very same question in an interview here on Scripps News, and she's with Brady. Take a listen to this.
We have folks in Congress today, far too many, who run on the idea that they need guns, they need God, and they need country. And they don't care about the consequences of that. They don't care about what happens at the polls. In the end, we as Americans have to stand up, look at the record of these individuals who we are putting in office, and understand it's our very lives at risk.
Again, that was Chris Brown. She's the president of Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence. What are your thoughts here? Is she right? I mean, why is it so hard to get the right people into office who'd be enacting simple reforms on gun safety?
It's no secret that there are big structural challenges to our government that don't make them as representative as we'd like. And although a majority of gun owners, majority of both Democrats and Republicans support common sense gun laws, state legislators and Congress have refused to act. I will say that we're coming on a year anniversary of the Bipartisan Safer Community Act, which was a significant gun law that Congress passed. And we're excited that Senator Murphy on June 16th will be rallying people in Hartford, Connecticut to implement this law and to get ready for the next wave of legislation. But the fact is that a small minority of gun lobbyists and people that are interested in selling as many guns as possible have really made it difficult for us to pass the strong gun laws that we know that will work. And I feel for the mayors that you talked about up top, they can do their best and they're held responsible for the shootings in their communities. But because of preemption laws, mostly conservatives have taken away the right of cities to write their own gun laws. And so it has to happen at the state and federal level.
To what do you attribute the failure of simple gun reform? Do you think it is the gun lobby? What is it at this point? And do you think it's just a pipe dream? Do you think we'll ever see simple gun safety measures pass?
I don't think it's a pipe dream. I do believe the corporate gun lobby, they worked for decades to be able to spread these really terrifying lies or myths, such as that guns make you safer, the Second Amendment doesn't allow us to write any gun regulations, and that only a good guy with a gun can stop a bad guy with a gun. And using lots of donations, the NRA and others were able to convince members of Congress and some very vocal one-issue voters that there's no way we can compromise to save lives. And even though the NRA is now being weakened, I think these myths are pervasive. But I know that as we continue to grow our movement and include new voices like the AAPI community Latino community, and especially young voters who are showing up to the polls time and time again, demanding that elected officials either pass stronger gun laws or get out of the way and be replaced by someone that will. I know we will win, but it's a tough battle ahead, and we need as many people joining us as possible.
Yeah, it really is a tough battle ahead. But Nick, we do appreciate all the work that you've been doing on this front, and thank you so much for wearing orange today. Nick Wilson is the Senior Director for Gun Violence Prevention at the Center for American Progress. Nick, thank you so much.